Greetings, my name is Lauren Monroe. This is my Prezi for the Foundations assignment. This assignment is based on the standards for both students and teachers that is put out by the National Education Technology Standards through ISTE. Basically, in review of both the student and teacher standards, I found quite a few overlapping areas about collaboration and innovation in different items such as those. But looking at it through the lens of a current practicing teacher, I really found a lot of information through the teacher standards in terms of I liked that it provided a way for professionals to evaluate current practices in utilizing technology, and also it set a goal for where instruction should be occurring for not only the teacher growth, but for students to be producers in creating content and projects and things such as that for their coursework, not just being simple consumers of the technology and utilizing things like a Word document to write a paragraph of text for an English class, but rather truly engaging with the technology in authentic and meaningful ways. So for this, I reviewed many lessons through the online website of Teachers First, and I found a couple of lessons that I found really related. I was able to apply standards for teachers and also standards for students. So the first one we're going to look at is the teacher standards. And within that, we're looking at standard 4, which is to promote and model digital citizenship and responsibility. From within that standard, I chose the performance indicator A, which is advocate, model, and teach safe, legal, and ethical use of digital information and technology, including respect for copyright, intellectual property, and the appropriate documentation of sources. Both the standard and the performance indicator were taken from the standards page of ISTE.org verbatim. So within looking at this specific performance indicator, the lesson that I chose through Teachers First was one called Middle East Interactive Activities. And this lesson I feel it directly deals with the performance indicator in terms of modeling safe, legal, and ethical use of digital information, because this lesson itself has permissions and copying section that states Teachers First does not permit download of these files for a single teacher's use, or does permit download of these files for a single teacher's use only, as a short-term convenience, such as to place a single activity with a smart notebook or flip chart between other pages of teacher-designed activities. Thus, even in utilizing the materials of the lesson, teachers are modeling ethical use of information. In addition, I feel that this lesson could be expounded upon in engaging with the students on why the teacher chose that. In current societal culture, things such as sometimes copyright and ethical use of technology isn't looked upon in the greatest light, or people don't choose to do that because in some cases it's easier to misuse or misappropriate information found digitally. So I think it's important not only for the teachers to model this, but also as that performance indicator A of Standard 4 says, but to also advocate for it. And so in advocating for it, teachers need to engage the students in the discussion of why it's necessary to follow these regulations, to be an ethical member of this digital society and digital community. So for the next set of standards, the student standards, the standard that we were looking at is number 3, research and information fluency. Of that, the lesson that I chose from Teachers First, I felt really that the performance indicator B related really well to it, and that the lesson really addressed the standard or this performance indicator, which is locate, organize, analyze, evaluate, synthesize, and ethically use information from a variety of sources and media. So for this lesson, the lesson that I chose was the rock family. And during this lesson, students, it's a science lesson where students are looking at the characteristics of 3 types of rock: metamorphic, sedimentary, and igneous rock. Students will utilize a variety of both web-based platforms and classroom-based documents and instruction in order to research the characteristics of these 3 varieties of rock. Then students will use an online concept mapping tool through readwritethink.org to organize that information. I felt that this really went with performance indicator B because that indicator talks about locating, organizing, analyzing, evaluating, synthesizing, and using information from a variety of sources and media. And in utilizing an online concept mapping tool, students have an online source where they can swap, edit, add information as it becomes necessary, or remove information as they find through research or through conversation or through utilizing web-based platforms that some of the original ideas may no longer be true characteristics of one type of rock or the other. So as such, I felt that this was a valid utilization or area to apply performance indicator B of standard 3. So in conclusion, after looking at the standards for students and teachers from ISTE, there are several overarching themes and comparisons that can be drawn between both students and teachers standards. But for this presentation, I'm going to focus on 3 of those themes or significant points. First is that effective instruction utilizing technology requires students and teachers to be producers and not consumers. As you go through the different standards in both the student and teacher sections, you see multiple sections that talk about creativity and innovation and creating original works, collaborating with peers to create, to develop, to plan and manage activities, to collect and analyze data, for teachers to provide students with multiple and varied formats through which to inspire student learning and creativity, as well as for teachers to be ongoing learners. And so as such, it is necessary that both students and teachers be creative and innovative in thought, design, presentation, and assessment. Second, as members of a global society engaged in technology and digital platforms, both students and teachers have to be responsible users when accessing information and do this in safe and ethical ways, as well as obeying all legal forms. And this is something that teachers not only have to advocate and model, but they also have to teach students why it's important, but also how to go about doing this. And so as a member of this digital global society, it's imperative that you own, whether teacher or student, own the work that you are doing, but also to give credit to where other information and ideas and facts are not your own, to give credit to those original authors and to those original bodies of work. Last or thirdly, collaboration. Throughout looking at these standards, it is extremely apparent that collaboration is key to effective instruction and ongoing growth on the part of teachers. Just as collaboration is key to engaging students in local and global partnerships. So overall, there is much to be learned from these standards for everyone, for teachers and students alike, and for teachers to be aware of not only the student standards, but that there are standards for themselves as teachers as well. So, and then on here you can see the references from where I have found the information for both the student standards and teacher standards, as well as both of the websites for the lesson plans that I utilize through Teachers First. Thank you so much for listening. And again, this is the Foundations assignment based on National Education Technology Standards for Students and Teachers. Thank you.